What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, and welcome to Lactic Acid, the podcast where the takes are fresh, the ideas are right, and that means we are the best in the bunch. I am your host, Dominique Smith, and before we go further, I hope everybody had a great holiday season. I hope that you stuffed yourself on Thanksgiving, that your Christmas was as lit as a Christmas tree, that your New Year's was happy, and that for our friends who celebrate Hanukkah and Kwanzaa, I hope and pray that you enjoyed the festive season as well. This is the first episode of the new year, 2022, and there is no better guest than the guest that I'm about to introduce. She is the owner of the Paper Trails Greeting Card Company. It is one of the premier card companies. In my opinion, it is the hallmark of greeting cards for athletics. She is the jack of all trades. She's a fierce runner, a dog lover, business owner, and like I said, there's nobody better. I'm sitting in the presence of greatness. She is Kristen Doornbos. Kristen, thank you so much for coming on the show. How you doing?
Hi, Dominique. That was such a epic introduction. Thank you.
Straight facts. Really excited to have you on the show. And with Kristen, obviously, she's going to be a part of this podcast, but we're going to do a written feature on her that will be released the day that the podcast is released. So definitely check that out. Definitely check out her company. We're going to talk a little bit about that, and you can read more about it. But I have to ask you what I ask just about everybody on the show when they come on. If you had to pick a superhero to describe you, I'm going to do this. One as a business owner, one as a runner. Who you rolling with?
Ooh, okay. I have to admit, so I did listen to a couple of episodes, and so I knew that this question was coming. But
we can adjust if that helps.
I have never really seen any of the actual superhero movies, so I'm not super familiar with any of the traditional superhero Marvel storylines or any of that. But I guess if I had to pick a character who to me is like a superhero, I think Katniss Everdeen, the girl from the Hunger Games. She's
okay.
The independent survivalist kind of woman of the woods type.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's
she.
Go ahead.
She also has a heart for the underdog, and she is always seems to be rescuing all of the men in her life too. So
okay,
yeah.
Okay, well, that's a very, very detailed explanation. I appreciate that. Is it bad that I've never seen the Hunger Games before?
Yeah, it's a cultural thing that I don't know. I mean,
I thought it was about food and stuff like that, and then people were like, no, it's survival. It's
yeah,
I just live day to day. That's
it's just a dystopian government thing. It's fine. You don't have to see it.
Okay, we're gonna avoid.
Yeah.
Okay. So I like that answer, though. I like that answer. One thing that excites me about Kristen, and one reason that I'm excited to share her company and her to our world and at Lactic Acid, is that she embodies the phrase "kindness still matters," especially in a society and a culture that seems to shy away from it. But interestingly enough, you were not an athlete. You started out as a worship leader. You got, your degree in worship, and now you're running marathons. You created your own marathon. I listened to, and you're out there balling and everything like that, which, I'm not going to say it gives hope for people like me, because, I run to the refrigerator and stuff like that. So that's daily exercise. But to go from someone who doesn't have too much of an athletic background to actually someone who is a competitive runner, can you talk about that transition and just the love that you have of running?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say even not much of an athletic background, but I would say no athletic background whatsoever. Like I would like pat myself on the back in college for going to the gym maybe like once or twice a week. I mean, I did not do sports. I was not into it. So yeah, I mean, I didn't start running until I was 25, and it was a super unexpected thing. I was always way more into like the arts and music and all of that stuff. So yeah, worship leader turned runner, I guess. But yeah.
It's funny. I went to a private Christian school for like,
Oh, you did? Okay.
yeah, back in the, well, I say back in, I'm 27, but I feel like I'm 98.
Mm-hmm.
Um, gosh, when I was in middle school and high school and stuff. And so like being a worship leader was like a big deal and a big responsibility. And it's
Yeah.
just being in front of the audience and you're having to come up with everything. It's just like, so, but it is
Yep.
cool to see like that's kind of your background. Have you always been, that kind of creative mind, so to speak? Because you have to have a level of creativity, to, be in worship, but obviously being in business,
Yeah.
you, you just look at your cards, it's very, very unique. Have you always been that creative?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been I always kind of say like the jack of all trades, the master of none. Like if you name any kind of creative anything, I've tried it and I've done it. And that's not to say that I'm an expert in all of it, but like I have done music, I've done quilting, I've done um I don't know, songwriting and recording and art and graphic design and like
Wow.
everything under the sun. So it's not really outside of, I guess, yeah, I mean, going from like worship leading to being a business owner doesn't really make a lot of sense. But if you think about it as like one creative thing to another, I guess you connect the dots a little bit better. But yeah.
So why running?
Oof. I kind of fell into it when I was living in Alabama. I had moved there for a job that did not fit me very well. And I was going through just like a really dark time. And I don't know what it was. I just kind of started running on the treadmill at my apartment complex, little like gym area. And I mean, at the time, it was just sort of like a goal to chase and something to like keep me busy and something to make me happy and look forward to every day and like just see how far I could go. And I did not expect to fall in love with it. And I did not expect to still be doing it like 5 or 6 years later. So
Awesome.
here I am. I don't know. I mean, running in different seasons has meant a lot of different things to me. And right now, I think it's just something that gets me out of my head and into my body and helps me kind of overcome inertia and all of that good stuff.
So I live in Orlando.
Oh yeah.
So for those listening, it is New Year's Eve. And Kristen, you live in the state of Michigan.
Yep.
So I heard in the previous episode you lived in Alabama, so I made note of that. It is currently like 85 degrees outside. It is stupid. I
Oh,
have
no,
a
thank you.
shirt on. So you went from, tea so sweet that it will give you hypertension in
Yep.
incredibly humid weather to Antarctica. What was the
Mm-hmm.
weather transition like? I mean, because
The weather transition.
I'm a little envious because I would love to be a part of seasons,
Yeah.
not just a year-round heat stroke.
Well, I grew up in Michigan. I'm from here originally. And I mean, I went to college and was like, I'm never going back to Michigan. I'm moving away. And it's like, here I am. So yeah, I mean, it was the bigger shock was not going from like the heat to the cold. The biggest shock for me was going from like 4 seasons. You have a defined spring, summer, fall, winter to Alabama, where it is like 90 degrees and 100% humidity at 7 a.m. every day.
Yeah.
It was terrible. I was right by the Gulf Coast too. So I was like in Mobile area. So awful. The weather there and the bugs. The bugs are really bad.
Oh yeah, So right now it's ladybug season. So there's a bug per capita when it
Yeah.
comes to the seasons and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I feel you on that. So I thought that was interesting because that is a huge like that's major when it
I
comes
know.
to climate
I
and
know. Yeah.
that. So you started Paper Trail Greeting Company. You started it last year, I believe. You guys are a little,
Mhm.
well, the company is a little over 1 year old. You are a
Yep.
massage therapist,
Mhm.
which we need to thank the Lord for them because they do great work, especially in heavy times of stress. And so you started this creative design and I'll post a few cards on my page because I've come across a few that I really, really love because they're so well done and the designs and just like all the quotes and all that stuff. I'm not a
Oh, thank you.
I threw the shot put in high school and coached, but
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
yeah, but I don't know. It's like you look at the card and it makes you want to run, like almost and everything like that.
Oh.
So started in the middle of a pandemic, which
Mhm.
takes an insane amount of bravery and everything like that. What is it like being a business owner, and what have you learned in this interesting season? I think that's the safe way to put it because it's not ideal for anybody, but for you to do what you do and be so successful so far is pretty incredible.
Well, thank you. And I love that those cards make you want to run. And I'm going to challenge you today, actually. Go run for 5 minutes. And
Today,
maybe that's, yes, today. Go run for five
did you
minutes.
not hear that I just told you it's hot outside and the humidity
Okay.
is lit? Okay,
So,
I'll tell you what. There's a cold front moving through in a couple
all right.
days. I promise you, pinky promise. I will.
Okay.
I will go run. I promise you.
This week sometime,
I
run for
promise.
5 minutes, even if you have to walk for 3 minutes and then run for like 30 seconds and then like repeat that a bunch of times. But anyways, I think that, the running community would be so, so, so glad to have you. But oh, business. I'm really glad that I'm a year and a half into this and not still in the baby stages of having just started it. Like starting a business takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of
Reach. No.
time.
Reach. About that money part, yes.
Yeah, yep. And actually no, I sent out a year end kind of recap email to a bunch of my supporters and customers, and basically was just like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And one of the points that I included in there as a highlight was, a year and a half later, I have finally broken even in this business and I've made it out of the red, so to speak. And I think that, like business owners don't like to talk about money, but if you're starting something, it's not gonna like be profitable right away. And that doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. It just means that that's the way it works. And patience and time is key. But yeah, I mean, I think a big part of why I felt like such an imposter for so long is because like I thought that I was doing it wrong. I was like, man, like I'm not making money yet. Like I
Yeah.
created this business 2 months ago and I don't have a huge paycheck. Like, what am I doing wrong? I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, I'm not an imposter. I'm doing things the way that they're supposed to be done. And yeah, I mean, now I'm busy enough that I'm too busy doing the actual thing to be thinking about how much of an imposter I am. So I guess maybe that struggle has sort of passed. But yeah, I mean, it's really fulfilling. I love being my own boss. And then, like you said, like creating a product that I'm really proud of, that's super meaningful to me as well. And so, yeah, creating a brand from scratch and just getting to decide like, this is what I'm about. And this is what matters to me as a company and as a person, and being able to put my money behind that. It's awesome.
It's so funny to hear you say that, you felt like an imposter? Because I mean it when I say the difference between you and Hallmark is that you're not doing Christmas movies 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 3 months. And I'm a sucker for the holidays.
That would be the worst.
Yeah, that's only that's the only difference. But I forgot who the guest was, but we were kind of talking about something similar. It could have, I'm not even going to try to guess, but you find yourself comparing yourself to other people and other things and other businesses. I hate to say, but this show is, obviously, when people hear this, it's going to be January, and I struggle with that, especially, you're trying to, get sponsorships and trying to build an audience and everything like that. And it's like, oh Lord, am I, I know you told me to do this, but you don't see, the profit and stuff like that. As someone who praise the Lord is out of the red, that is something worth celebrating because that is awesome.
Yeah.
How do you push past the insecurities, and what confidence have you gained throughout it all that, to know that, I'm on the right track, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and, it doesn't matter, the journey of everyone else, because we all have our individual journeys that's made and is made to shape us to be who we are, to make an impact.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of really great business mentors in my life. I've had a lot of podcasters, not too different from yourself, who've really poured into me and encouraged me along the way, and made it really clear that, like, it's never going to be a one for one equation in terms of like the amount of time and effort you put in to like the dollar amount that you get out. And you're always, in the beginning at least, you're going to be putting in way more time and energy than what you gain from it in terms of growth or whatever. And that's just the way that it works when you're starting something new. But I just had so many people encouraging me that, like, you will get through this, and this is a season. And I think having other business owners and other creators, content creators, podcasters, other, people in the running world saying, like, listen, you're doing this. Like, they were the ones that believed in me before I believed in myself. And I mean, just, gosh, if you're starting something new, like, get a mentor, have other people around you who are doing the same thing, not because they're your competitors, but because you all are building each other up and encouraging one another in your own areas,
So that's great advice, and I know it will be definitely received and appreciated. I want people to get to know the face behind the business, but not about the business. So I want you, in your own words, I ask athletes this, people come on the show, you're an athlete, we're all runners and everything, and we'll get back at a couple specific questions, that we talked about, but
okay.
Who are you outside of the business? I know you have a dog that you adore, has more followers than a lot of people on Instagram and everything like that. Let's tell the people about who you are.
Yeah. I guess yes, I do have a dog. I'm just like a super big heart and a very tender heart. I love my family a lot. I love my dog. I'm a runner. I have, some really close friendships that mean a lot to me. I try to put a lot of heart into everything that I do, and I'm just such an emotional person, and I feel things really deeply. So yes,
Like
all of those things, I could go on for an hour about how much I love them and what they mean to me. So yes, pick your avenue and we will go there.
Oh, you kind of see that like in what you do in your business, because and I guess it's a pretty good segue. And I said it, early on in the show, it seems like when you turn on the news and you go on social media and all this stuff, like everybody's, I don't want to say everybody sucks, but People are like, kind of mean,
Mhm.
just kind of
Yeah.
inching towards like a mean world. And sometimes, we talked about it
Oh my gosh.
before. You said you had to take a break from posting, which I'm not gonna lie to you, that is like it is tiring because you have to think about stuff to post, you have to look
Mhm.
at the timing of it and everything, but you open
Yeah.
yourself up to so many different comments, so many different things, and everything like that. But you embody the quote that I will always stand by, is that kindness still matters. But why
Hmm.
does that matter to you?
I mean, I'll be super honest. I think, if kindness doesn't matter to you, like what the F.
Right.
But also, you know, I am very open about the fact that I am a Christian, and like kindness is a part of how I live out my faith. Like kindness is love in action, and it's not just about not being mean to other people. It's about asserting yourself in a way that benefits another person. And I don't know, to me that is something that goes against my nature. Like I'm not the type of person to assert myself. I'm not the type of person to um speak unless I'm spoken to, type of thing. And um so for me, I think kindness is a huge part of my like personal growth, and just the way that I personally am trying to live a little bit more like Jesus. And I know that that sounds trite, but like
That's what he calls
it's
us to do.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm not here to like preach religion to anybody, but I think that it's super important to be kind to others, and that kind of works its way into every aspect of my life. And so yeah, if I'm starting a business, I want it to be centered around kindness and loving other people. And
Your
yeah.
cards, make ex football player slash shot putter weightlifter like me feel like, I don't say like I'm a superstar.
Oh,
I will say this: my biggest running accomplishment was I ran 1 mile without stopping, which was like
yeah.
a big deal. I was in so much pain, but but it's like, you read, one of your cards, and it's like Mr. Rogers is like
Oh,
encouraging
I love Mr. Rogers.
uh
Oh,
rip. Um
yeah.
but yeah, you see that in the cards, and everything that you do. And I wish I'll be honest, I'm not that good at technology. So I can't like overview the cards as
Overlappable.
on the
Okay.
cards and stuff. Obviously I'm not,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It's just like when I came across it, I'm like, oh dang, I need to go find a treadmill and run. I feel like I can do this. And then you read more about it. And then
Yeah.
it's something, I don't know, like I said, it's something that feels like everyone is a part of like this big happy family, whether you're a
Hmm.
race walker or a couch potato, or a marathon
Yes.
yourself, or like a gold medalist and stuff like that. Was that the aim when you started your business? Because you feel the kindness
Mhm.
in what you write and how it's displayed from an outsider's point of view.
Yeah, no, and I love that so much because like that's exactly what it's all about, right? And so I have this little like tagline that I put on everything, and it says every runner deserves to be celebrated, every runner belongs. And that's like the main thing that I want to come back to all the time is, it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from or what level you're at in running. Like if you run, you belong and you deserve to be celebrated. And maybe I should make a mile card, because maybe there are some runners who just do a mile. um but that's exactly like the point that I'm going for. And it makes me really happy that that's what comes across to you, at least.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And so like I said, it's I've you see this in Hallmark cards, and I think what I like about it the most, and obviously in the, as we're talking, um, it's not forced. It's not, you can tell when somebody's trying too hard, but it's like genuinely care. It's like, oh my God, somebody cares about me, and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things why I don't know, you just don't see that. Even, just in the running community from what I've seen. Um, everybody has
Mm.
and everybody, you should want to have, a mindset of self-improvement. Because the best ability is availability and stuff like that. And if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be available, to be kind and, and help someone else. But in the running community, since you are I'll say you're a professional runner, because I mean, if you're listen, no amateur doing marathons by themselves and running. So as a
Ooh.
pro, okay, I haven't seen it. So as a pro, runner who is out there balling on these running streets, what are some of the things that you would like to see change in the running community?
Oh man, you ready to go there?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, I mean, in the last year, I've been really starting to kind of find my voice about like ableism in our sport and advocating for runners with disabilities in ways that are large and small. And yeah, I don't need to like go into my own story and my own health crap like in detail or anything. There's a lot of other podcasts where you can find those stories, but there's just not a ton of people talking about it. And so I'm going to be that person that's loud and annoying and starting to like educate runners about disability and ableism and bring that conversation into our sport. Because I think there's a misconception um, among runners and everyday runners and professional runners alike that you're either like this super healthy able-bodied person, or if you're not, you're a Paralympian, right? And that's
Wow.
not, like there's no real in between in people's minds. And I think that people don't realize that like there are disabled people who are runners, and there are people in every running community with disabilities of all kinds, right? And we're not some mythical creatures that don't exist. We're out here, we exist. And yeah, just bringing that conversation into the running community, I think is really important to me right now.
Well, can I ask you a few more questions about that? Because I
Yeah.
have never. That's the first time I've heard that, to be honest with you. And that is very. I think why maybe it like pinched a nerve, because like as a minority in a totally different, we minorities deal with different things. Women deal with different things. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that are similar, where you are labeled, you it's kind of cliquish. You fit one mold, or you fit this mold, and there's not
Mm-hmm.
enough room to be yourself. Do you find that it's just ignorance on the part of people, or is that kind of the running spear? Because it sounds, that's a very elitist mentality to take, like, okay, well, if you aren't this, then go run with the Paralympians and stuff like that. And
Right.
like they are, you know, cast off like there's something wrong with them. When in reality, a lot of Paralympians are faster than healthy people and stuff.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like there are disabled athletes who are doing incredible things that blow my mind, and I can't even fathom like how talented they are. Anyways, I don't know. I don't really fully know the answer to that question, except, running is a very physical sport. And when you're talking about physical ability, maybe that's partially why it's harder for people to understand that you can be a runner and an athlete and a good runner and a powerful athlete and also have a disability. And, there's also just all across the spectrum, right? It's not, disability is not this black and white, you have to fit one mold or the other. I mean, it's very much, there is no one set look, there is no one experience, and there's an entire spectrum of ability within that. So I don't know. I mean, I just want to talk about it, and I just want to get people thinking about it in a different way and starting to realize that, like, okay, like this is part of, I love talking about diversity, and I love that the running community is so diverse, and like I just want disability to be like part of that conversation.
One thing that I'll be honest with you, I found, especially, I don't want to say this year, I went to a conference, oh Lord, 2018 or whatever the case might be. It was a journalism conference, and I was in college and got a chance to go.
Mhm.
I had a conversation with this, she was an anchor, but she was a keynote speaker. And I said, the word diversity, it covers so much ground. It covers what you're talking about. It covers racial,
Mhm.
diversity, equality and all that stuff. The two words that are starting to drive me crazy because they become empty words to me are equality and diversity. Because I told her, I don't want you to hire me because I'm Black. I want you to hire me because I'm good at what I do, and everybody has an opportunity. And it kind of seems
Mhm.
like, and I don't, it's just like, okay, well, diversity, let's just go, get somebody who has, who may not be 100% physically, and let's put them in a race, and oh, we'll cheer for them, but the same issue still stands.
Mhm.
How do we go forward? This issue that you're referring to, which is a major issue, which is unnecessary and is very disappointing to hear. How do we fix that? Obviously, these are thousands of conversations that have to happen. These are thousands of ideas, that have to happen. But to truly move forward, how do we fix it? Because to me, it's not enough to just say, oh, I'm aware of the problem. You actually have to care,
Mhm.
about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I mean, so, oof, the the thing that you're describing, the problem that you're describing, I would say that has a name and it has a word, and that word is ableism, right? And um, I think that the language that we use really matters. Um, I think that, people can't fix something that they don't know is there, and people can't be aware of a problem that, doesn't have a name. And so I think, yeah, just educating people on what is ableism, and how do we start to break that down in our sport. And like you said, that's 1,000 different conversations. Um, but there's things that I'm trying to get at in the way that I post on my own social media, like my personal stuff. And then there's stuff that I post about on paper trails about ableism and about disability and running. And gosh, I just try to be really honest about it. I try to take what I have learned about disability and apply that to, the running world. Um, so, I mean, for instance, there's a lot of um, economic inequality for people who are disabled. And that is true in the running world as well. I mean, you think about sponsorships, you think about the money that gets poured into athletes who are sponsored by different clothing brands and shoe brands. You think about the money that gets poured into the Olympics versus the Paralympics. You think about the prize purse money at a major marathon, right? Like the winner of the open division gets whatever, $100,000 or something like that. And the wheelchair athlete winner gets, I don't know, $5,000, 15, something like that. And so all of these different issues that apply to the world in general when it comes to disability, I think still stand true for our sport, and taking that same language and those same concepts and those same words, that word of like ableism, and just calling it what it is and saying, no, that in our sport, that's ableism showing up in a more specific context. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. Like I said, this
Yeah.
is, I hate to say this, it's I guess it's just, it's ignorance on my part. I've never heard of that word before until today.
And that's, like, we're all just learning. We learn by making mistakes. We learn by learning things that we didn't know before. So
oh, for sure. So I do
yeah.
appreciate that, education lesson. And it's so weird how it kind of goes back. There's so many issues because, you can see it in so many different things, like you were saying. But it's really cool that you're, leading the charge, and, hopefully, change comes, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Because I'd imagine it presents like a lonely feeling because you seem ostracized. And I can only speak from my point of view, from based on what I, understand on it, not, telling anyone how to feel, but yeah, that can create, it seems that can create a really not good feeling. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I am necessarily the one leading the charge here, and I don't feel like I'm speaking for anybody. I just feel like there are lots of like really talented disabled athletes and Paralympians and people who've been, speaking out about this for a long time. And so I just feel like I'm kind of one voice joining the choir here.
Okay.
But maybe it's that, you're connecting with me for the first time.
Yeah.
And that I am personally kind of your entry point into this conversation. And like, that's what it's about for me.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Each one.
I don't think there's any shame in that. That's fine.
Yeah. Each one reached
Yeah.
out. Like, I can dig
Mm-hmm.
it. I am better for it from hearing about it. How has your faith impacted you on this journey?
I'm still kind of working all of that out. I won't lie, like 2020 and 2021 have sort of, it's not that I've deconstructed as a Christian, but like definitely sort of peeling back the layers of some of the cultural Christianese kind of like evangelical things that are sort of superfluous to like what my faith is actually is. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of reconstructing what that looks like. And I think that at the end of the day, it's all about love. It's all about loving God. It's all about loving other people. And so like, I'm just trying to do the best that I can at all of that. And so, yeah, I mean, my business is a part of that. And what I do in the running community is a part of that. What does that look like? And can I make any sense of it? That's to be determined. But
I mean, it's a day by day process.
Yeah, for sure.
Church, day by day, sweet Jesus, and everything. I mean, it just seems, like I said, you have to have. The best quote I've heard was, "Faith is not with your feelings." It was by Dr. Tony Evans. It's not with your feelings; it's with your feet. So,
Yeah.
outsider's point of view, you had to have some mustard seed faith to get something off, but not only get something off as far as, running, but then this greeting card, business, but to maintain it, which is really, really inspiring, especially when it's like, well, why would you do this in the middle of a pandemic when money's not coming in?
Yeah.
And this, that,
Yep.
and stuff like that. So we have reached the end of the I'm not going to say Q&A, but this is the last segment of the podcast. I like to call it
All right.
Down the Home Stretch.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah. This is the time where you definitely feel the lactic acid kicking in. So I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions.
Let's go.
And if you do not answer them quick, fast, in a hurry, it's okay. No one does.
All right.
And it's all good. Answer them to the best of your ability. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
If you had to pick a food to live with and live without, what are they going to be?
Just one food for the rest of my life.
To live, to eat forever, and then one that you had to get rid of.
Can I pick a food group?
Okay.
Can I say carbs?
Okay.
Spoken like a true runner.
Okay, yeah, that is a running answer. That's why I said she's a professional, because that is a professional running answer if I've ever heard it.
Yeah. Something to live without. Red meat. Can't do it.
Really?
Yeah, I just can't. And part of that is just that it does terrible things to me, but I've never been a fan. I mean, I can't stand like the smell of a steak cooking. I just can't do it. I know it's like really weird, but
Oh, that's okay. Listen, that is okay. We do not discriminate on this show. If you can't eat a nice juicy steak or a hamburger, that is okay.
I'll give it to you. How about that?
It's free. Yeah, of course.
There you go.
Last television show that you binge watch.
Only Murders in the Building.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had to.
It was okay. It was cute.
Only Murders in the Building was cute.
Kind of. I don't know.
Okay. Again, we don't judge. We don't discriminate.
It's like a little dramedy. It's Selena Gomez, and it's set in New York, and it's unlikely friendships. And
oh well, listen, I'm thinking somebody got shot, so I didn't think it was like
I mean, but it is. But whatever.
Listen, is it on like a streaming service, or because I've never heard of this?
It's on Hulu. Yeah.
Hulu. Okay. I will. I'm not gonna make that a promise to say I'm gonna
okay. All right.
Anything. If you had to pick an actress to portray your life in a film, who are you rolling with?
Ooh, definitely Emma Watson, the girl that played Hermione in the Harry Potter series.
Okay.
I just think that we look alike. I get that a lot from random people, but kind of my doppelganger.
Watson, I can see it. Yeah, I can definitely see it a little bit. Okay, what is your dream location to run at?
My dream location to run at,
trail, something like that.
I've always wanted to run the Reykjavik Marathon in Iceland.
Oh.
Yeah, it would be really cool. I visited there, I think in 2011. And so I thought it would be awesome to go back and run a marathon, but yeah.
Okay. If you had to have someone narrate your life, who are you rolling with?
Oh, I don't even know. I do think that Barack Obama has a very soothing voice. I listened to his book on audiobook, and it was almost put me to sleep because he's just so he's so fatherly. It's adorable. So yeah, Barack Obama.
Okay, I don't have a good imitation for him. Okay. There was a theme song that described your life. Well, if there's a song that you would use as a theme to describe your life, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. Something by Taylor Swift for sure.
So are we talking
maybe
Taylor Swift when she's talking about her boyfriends, or Taylor Swift when she's like just feeling 22 Taylor Swift?
I mean, I don't discriminate. I'm an equal opportunity Taylor Swift listener. Okay. So I will listen to all of it, but I was thinking more along the lines of like Shake It Off, like F the haters, I'm gonna live my life, I'm gonna do my thing and be me and shake it off.
I like that. That's a good motto for business too.
Yes.
And everything like that. I like that. That's very inspiring. What is a trend that you wish would come back and a trend that you wish would go away?
I wish that Crocs would go away forever.
Somebody praise
burn in hell.
Yes. Praise.
A trend that I wish would come back. I still love my skinny jeans, and I'm not giving them up. And I know that they are out officially according to Gen Z. So I wish that the skinny jeans would come back. And yeah.
That's right. We're technically millennials.
I know.
Gen,
I know. It makes me feel old.
Gen Z doing it. Oh, and happy belated birthday. Kristen was another year older. And so we wish her
Thank you.
God for her existence on this planet. Just a couple more. What
Okay.
is I love it when the mind draws blank. Okay. Favorite season?
Fall for sure.
I can dig that. Best thing to do in Michigan?
Ooh, probably go to Lake Michigan, to the beach. Definitely in the summer. You got to go in the summer.
Okay. Okay. Last two. Dream vacation.
Dream vacation. I don't know. I'm not a huge traveler. I would love to go to Europe. I would love to see Spain and France.
Okay. So I have one more and then I have a bonus. Spicy
Okay.
hot take to begin 2022 that will not get you canceled.
Can you repeat that? Sorry. You cut out for a sec.
Oh, okay, my bad. Spiciest hot take in 2022 that will not get you canceled.
Ooh, spiciest hot take is that moms are not the only ones in the world who are allowed to be tired. The videos that people post on Instagram and they say, you don't know tired until you've had kids. And I say, you are not entitled to be tired. You're not the only person in the world entitled to be tired just because you're a mom. I'm sure that being a mom is very tiring. I'm sure that it is its own kind of special tiredness. But, being tired is just a human thing, and you can't hold other people to inhumane standards just because you think that you're somehow special. So
can we add who came up with that video? And I have to say this, the person who probably said that is not a business owner. Anything like that.
Or has any kind of chronic illness or disability or anything like that too,
So it's safe to say that they're not about that life and stuff like that. It takes a special person to do that. Last question. What is the change that you wish to see in the year 2022?
All right, I'm gonna are you talking big picture or something very specific?
Whatever.
What are we talking here?
It doesn't matter.
The change I wish to see in 2022.
It could be big picture, it could be running, it could be business, it could be whatever is on your heart.
All right. Big picture, I would love to see less bickering politically on social media. I think it gets a little out of hand sometimes. And I think that, we're all entitled to our opinions, but we don't need to necessarily be dunking on one another all the time, constantly, because it just adds to that polarization. That's big picture. And then one super specific thing that I am really hoping to see, I kind of touched on this earlier, and the major marathons, I want to see them giving equal prize money to wheelchair and para athletes. I want to see them paying the first people across the line the same amount that they pay, able-bodied runners. And so can't really talk it super in detail about what's coming with that, but I definitely have some plans up my sleeve, and it is just one very specific, actionable goal that I'm going to go after. So that matters to me.
I am so pumped to see those plans fulfilled in the future. I tried to tell y'all Kristen was like a big deal when she came on the show.
Oh
So
my gosh.
I need you to plug Paper Trails Green and Company real quick. Tell us where we can find you. And yeah, whatever you want to say. I want you to have the last word.
All right. Well, Paper Trails Greeting Company is all about just celebrating every runner. And I believe that every runner deserves to be celebrated and every runner belongs. So send some greeting cards to your runner friends. I think the best way to feel like you belong is to show other people that they do too and welcome them in. So you can go to papertrailsgreetingcode.com and you can buy cards there, or you can just go to my Instagram. It is at Paper Trails Greeting Co. And there's like the whole little, shop link there that can send you to, purchase greeting cards or just, follow along and see what's going on there.
Yes. And if you buy a greeting card, post it on Instagram for the world so that they can see.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And
you saw that story.
I sure did, about 30 minutes ago or whatever the case might be. Definitely do that.
Cool.
Kristen, there was no better way to kick off 2022 than to have you on the show. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the Lactic Acid podcast. Please be sure to follow her, like she said, on Instagram. Definitely follow her adventures there. You can definitely see the post and the new things that she's coming up with, the new ideas that she has, and the big news that she low-key broke, but it's something to be excited about in the future. But that's going to end it for this episode. Thank you all so much for your support. Remember, you can go on lacticacidpodcast.org. You can find all the latest episodes and articles there, including this exclusive interview with Kristen. It will be both an article and a podcast, so stay tuned for that. Follow us on Twitter, Lactic Acid _pod, on Instagram, Lactic Acid Pod or Lactic Acid with Dominique Smith, and our YouTube page, the Lactic Acid Podcast with Dominique Smith. And be sure to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, and Anchor. Thank you so much, and we will catch you next time.